So, what is my subject matter today? Well, I'm going to wax a little serious. Now, there are several, and I mean several different channels on several different social media platforms that are stating that Netanyahu has been threatened by Vladimir Putin to stay out of Lebanon and get out of Lebanon. I will not say how I know this to actually be accurate, but I've had outside verification that this actually took place. These are perilous times we're living in, folks. You know, I really do believe we're headed for a civil war. It's basically a war between two different ideologies, whatever way you want to pronounce that, but we are headed toward it. You look at all the different things taking place, and there is just a huge amount of turmoil going on everywhere. Everywhere you look, people's lives are upside down. They're in turmoil. Financially, spiritually, emotionally, brother against brother, father against son, son against father, daughter against mother, mother against daughter. It's just bam, 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 bam. Everybody's going at one another. I see it all over the place. We've had some of that in our own family. However, it's under control. Now, I've been giving this some real hard thought, and I'm going to broach a few different subjects today. One is the cost of everything. It's just the way it is. You can blame the Democrats, you can blame the Republicans, you can blame Trump, you can blame Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. I refuse to call her Kamala. It's Kamala, according to her own mother. She's had some very embarrassing things show up. Been caught in several lies, but guess what? So is Donald Trump. But the long and short of this is, regardless of who is at fault or how many people are at fault, the price of things have gone up. I'm going to give you an example. My son Benjamin and I, the day before yesterday, on Monday, my son Brandon, my oldest child, Bo, has an Impala, a later model Chevrolet Impala that's basically a sedan but handles like a sports car, and it's a hot rod. It's got a big V6 in it. Very fast car. And the blower motor for the air conditioning, and it also blows for the heat, stopped. So my son Benjamin and I took my son Benjamin mostly, give credit where credit's due. As I instructed him how to do stuff, he did it flawlessly. But he took out the blower motor. But the problem was this thing here. This is a connector that connects and it had a little orange thing that goes right there that I've lost it someplace. It doesn't matter because we'll never use this particular thing again. To replace this little gizmo that is nothing but a connector, it goes in a deal like that and hooks two prongs up. See? Right there, two prongs. Hooks them up so that the blower motor would work. Well, Benjamin and Brandon both, Bo and Benjamin both got underneath the dashboard and looked at stuff. Brandon sent me photographs of it. I checked all around, and the cheapest one of these I could find, just a second, come in. I guess nobody knocked. The cheapest one of these I could find was $48 plus tax. And if the blower motor was burnt up, which they're not hard to rewire, but if it was burnt up, it would have cost $249, 250 bucks to repair and get that thing to where during the winter the defrost would work, during hot weather the air conditioner would work, all the above. So it just did not make sense to me. So what I did, I had this little case of fittings I bought at Walmart. I think I paid $9 for the thing. And I got two of these. And I made a custom one of these, manufactured our own, put it all together, and it works beautifully. It goes back to where it should be. Bought the wire. That this is the only money I spent yesterday. Whoa, what did I drop? I don't know, but I did drop it. Well, I'll find out here in a minute what I dropped, but bought wire, I paid $7 for that, but I already had the other stuff. My point, and I'll get to that, just hold that thought, I got to get something else to drink. Hot beverage. I found what I dropped. It's a Magic 8 Ball. My Magic 8 Ball. I consult this regularly. Yes, I do. And if you believe that, I'll tell you another lie. Just a second. Getting back to the subject. But what working on that air conditioning blower motor taught me? It taught me something that most people need to learn. And what that something is self-reliance. You need to find out what you can do to help yourself when things get really bad. Most people, because they are bound to using quote-unquote experts and dealing with experts to solve problems and paying out a lot of the money that they have to just survive. Folks, this is by design. What does this have to do with Vladimir Putin threatening Benjamin Netanyahu? It has everything to do with it. And I'm going to explain that in just a second. Let me get a sip. The average person here in the United States of America, And before I comment on that, I am in southern Oklahoma on a small farm in a tiny office. I am Native American. At church last Sunday, it was asked in Sunday school, our pastor asked about anybody here Native American. Myself and a couple other people raised our hands, and he said, well, if they say something, what is it, how? And that's not what I said. I went, Halito Ekana Chunchukuma. That means, hello friend, are you well, in Choctaw language. And my friend Jerry later nudged me and says, are you a Native American? And he knows good and well I am. It's my heritage, half of it anyway. My siblings are the same. But anyway, getting back to it, self-reliance. Most people are not self-reliant. And this expensive life that we are all living, it has been done intentionally. You might not believe that, but it's true. Let me get a sip and I'm going to get back to the main course. Why would Vladimir Putin... Most people do not understand the overall significance of what is going on between Russia and Ukraine. Most people do not understand that I had a friend of mine, well, they don't speak Russian in Ukraine, they speak Ukrainian. Well, that's not true. They speak both. And because someone doesn't use the language that is prevalent, that doesn't mean that they shouldn't be there. Ukraine always was and always has been part of the Russian Empire, the Rus Empire. It always has been. I'm not saying it should be now, but part of why Vladimir Putin invaded Ukraine was to get it back under the fold of Russia, because there are a lot of Russian nationals that live there. And the other reason is disease research centers laboratories Ukraine. Ukraine was actually involved in the development of our last pandemic. Now, I hope the censors don't strike this, but they probably will. But the other thing about Vladimir Putin threatening Benjamin Netanyahu is that Putin has made a deal with the Iranians, a deal with a lot of folks. It's about gasoline, natural gas, and oil. And though Russia has a large supply of its own, it's always better if you can buy it cheaper from someone else who has manufactured said substances. You know, right now, there is a dock workers strike in the United States of America, and everybody's scared we're going to run out of everything and wringing their hands, oh, the shortages are going to come hit us again. They may not. But these are perilous times. You need to be self-reliant as far as your physical well-being. But there's one other thing you need to do. You need to supplicate God to help you be self-reliant. I do that every day. Every single day I do that. I'm a very prayerful person. I didn't used to be. And I'm reminded of something my wife reminds me of. God uses broken people for His purposes. And God knows that I've been a broken person my entire life. I have been a sinner that would pale, other people's sins would pale in comparison to mine. But I'm trying not to be that guy, and I'm trying to do that which is right and good. And it's something that I'm working on every day. We all need to. Nobody is perfect. My late grandmother, Artie Mae Shockley Lance, was about as perfect a human being as I've ever met. My wife can attest to this. My cousins, all my family on my mother's side will tell you that is true. That is an absolute truth right there. But the thing that our grandparents and great-grandparents taught us that we need to think on and try to strive toward is being self-sufficient and self-reliant. There is a channel called My Self-Reliance by a guy up in Canada. Let me get a sip. I can't remember the guy's last name. Let me see if I can find it. I'm not plugging someone's channel on here. I'm just trying to be accurate in what I say. It's on YouTube. And see if I can get into YouTube. Might not be able to. We'll see. Scroll on down there and tell you. Okay, his name is Sean James. He's Canadian. He served in the United States military in the Air Force, version of Special Forces, I think. I'm not real clear on that, but I believe so. He's not an actual friend of mine, but I watch his channel. I like his content because he shows self-reliance. And this is something we all need to strive toward. Benjamin Netanyahu is out there threatening Iran again vocally. I just briefly saw where he was doing that. Why is he doing that? You have to understand something, and I'm going to wrap this up relatively quickly. Israel, the nation of Israel, is half the size of the state of Oklahoma. Look up Oklahoma in comparison to the rest of the United States. You can find a map of it. We're not that big a state land-wise. We're about average. We have about 5 million people living here. We have 366 different Native American Indian tribes living inside Oklahoma, and about half the state of Oklahoma is considered reservations of one type or another. I live on the Chickasaw Reservation, even though I'm Choctaw. And that's how it's designed. They had the McGirt ruling that gave tribes true sovereignty in a way, and it is going to get even more intense later. I really believe that. But what I'm saying is, the reason Netanyahu, the Israelis are tough. They're one of the toughest militaries on the planet, even though they're not the largest. And in Israel, it's required for all adult citizens to own an assault rifle, to own a firearm. There are towns in the United States, cities in the United States, that require the residents to own at least one firearm. And they also want you to be proficient using it, whether it's Israel or said cities. But the thing is, Israel is tiny and they're completely surrounded by enemies. At the end of World War II in 1948, League of Nations, before it became the United Nations, went ahead at the behest of the United States government and they established the nation of Israel. That's because Hitler did kill 6 million Jews, but he killed a lot of other people too. Gypsies, black people, people of color. His war machine destroyed a lot of lives, killed millions of people. But there were 6 million Jews plus murdered by the Nazis. So, in good conscience, they gave them a nation, and from that moment on, everyone surrounding the nation of Israel was wanting to take away what little they had. Israel has become a garden nation. It went from being a desert to being green. They have distillation plants that take salt water and turn it into drinkable, palatable, potable water. They've got orchards. They've got all this. And even so, like the nation's capital, I think Tel Aviv is their national capital, but Jerusalem is their prominent city, and Jerusalem's been around 3,000 years. And Jerusalem is not ruled entirely by Israel because the Arabic nations have say-so in it. So it's a wild thing. I've never been to Israel. I will tell you that right now. I always wanted to go, never will get to. But my pastor's been there numerous times. But the bottom line on all this is these are perilous times. We need to be prepared. The best way to get prepared is knowledge. And the best way to gain knowledge is get into your scripture, get into the Bible, study it, apply what it teaches, pray a lot, pray constantly. I do, and everybody in my family does pretty much. Pray for others, be supportive of others, develop a community, and learn to be self-sufficient. One of the things that's happened to me in my old age, I used to be a real hoss. I mean, like bench press 350 pounds, deadlift no telling what. I was stout as a horse, and I got old, and none of that is true anymore. But one thing and I used to eat like a horse. And I did that up until 3 years ago, and then everything changed, the dynamic changed. I eat less, and that is due to age. I try to stay physically active, but I'm old and getting older every day. Now, I'm going to leave this here with you. I'm going to go ahead and leave one more bit of wisdom to you. Like that sign up there over my left shoulder says, it is my mantra in life. It really is. Be kind. Always and ever be kind. I love you guys. God bless you, and go take on the day. Bye.